Uh, Full disclosure, you're the second Johnny Cage that I have interviewed.
All right, Jesse, that's awesome. Who's your first Johnny Cage?
Lyndon Ashby, the guy from the one from the 90s.
The greatest one. I've met him. I have a picture on my Instagram with him many years ago, or 2 years ago, or something like that. Him and he came up to me in the gym. He said, "Hey, Casper, I heard you got it." I'm like, "Oh my God, you're." So I got to meet him. He's so cool.
Yeah, he had nothing but good things to say about the Johnny Cages that followed. But I just wanted to give you the heads up and let you know that you have you have a lot to look up to, like, live up to.
I know that. I don't know if anybody can live up to him. As far as I'm concerned, he is Johnny Cage. I'm like the other Johnny Cage, but he is, he is Johnny Cage. He's awesome.
Yeah, keeping that in mind, with Showdown in Manila, was the Mortal Kombat connection thought out, or was that just a happy accident?
So this is the deal with that. Mark Dacascos is one of my closest friends, and he was my closest friend. He was one of my closest friends before we did Mortal Kombat together. Before we did Mortal Kombat Legacy Season 2. I just love him, and he's just a great friend and a great man. And I was training with him and working out. He's like, "I got this action movie. I'm working with this guy, Alexander Nevsky. He's going to let me direct, and I want you to meet him." I got to meet Alexander, and he's awesome. He's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of Russia. He's a big movie star over there, and he's just a great guy. He's just a sweet man. And then they pulled it in, and Mark brought in some people, and Alexander brought in some people, and there's all these action movie guys. And I had worked out. It's funny because I had trained with Olivier Gruner before, and so I had worked out with him for years, and I'd worked out with Mark for years, and I've worked out with other guys for years. And then I got to work with Kerry again, Kerry Tagawa, and I was like, who I love, and he's, he and I did season 3 of Mortal Kombat, which hasn't come out yet, but we did do it together. So and it was a happy accident, but Mark and I are friends, so I don't know if that would have. Yeah, the connection is probably a happy accident.
Gotcha. With Mark, I didn't realize this until I looked into it after I had watched the film. I didn't realize that this was his directorial debut.
It is.
The film was very polished, and considering you guys are friends, what was it like working with him being behind the camera? Was it a different experience, or how was that for you?
Well, he's just a dear friend, and I trust him, and I believe in him, and he knows his stuff, and he knows martial arts, and he knows filmmaking. So I know I was in good hands when it comes to that. The thing that I have an issue with him is that he told me, he goes, "This character, Craig, I had Craig Hammond write it for you, and I think it's perfect. It's perfect. This character is you." And then I started reading some of the dialogue and saying something, and I went, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, that's perfect." And I'm like. So I think my friend, who I think so highly of, has a different image of me, obviously. So. Well,
yeah, and it's funny that you'd say that, because you did play yourself in Noobs, and then I've also seen like other interviews with you, and you don't seem like either one of those guys. So that's.
I like to play different.
Yeah.
but the Casper Van Dien that they see and all these different things, it is so funny.
Yeah.
In Noobs. Totally, just what a horrible guy I am. And then in Mortal Kombat, when I did all that, when I first did all the interviews for that, I never broke out of character. I was always and then people go, "You're perfect at this," and I'm like, "What are you trying to say? A D-list actor, they can't get a job?" And they'd be like, and until they caught on to it, I guess. But they at first, I got them razzled a little bit, but it was just fun.
Gotcha. With Alexander, I actually talked to him his last movie when it came out, Black Rose, and you're right, he is an amazing and super interesting guy. Were you familiar with him before you got involved with this project?
Well, it's funny because a movie called Moscow Heat that he did with Michael York many years ago. Michael York is a dear friend of mine, and Michael York asked me to come and play that, but I couldn't because I was doing a film in New Zealand, and I wanted to, only because of Michael York. I didn't know Alexander at the time, but I became aware of him back then, which that would have been in like 2000. I became aware of him, but I didn't get to meet him or really see his stuff yet. It wasn't until Mark pitched it to me that I became aware of him, and then I saw what a huge star he is. And my fiance and I just went over there last year to promote Showdown in Manila when it came out in Russia, and we had a huge thing. And to watch him over there, he is just a massive star over there. And we went to Moscow and St. Petersburg with him, and he's just, he's just a larger than life in person, and then in the press he is as well. Some of it positive, some of it negative, but he just can handle all of it. He's just like he can handle it, because sometimes some of the press people, they can be not so nice, and then others just love him, and that's just what he gets for being a huge star.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can definitely see that he handles it really well, and that was my big thing with him. I was curious as to if he was trying to make their transition from that star over there to that star over here, and he said to me, honestly, he's just trying to have fun and make some money, and he loves what he's doing, but he also loves what comes along with it, which is exactly what you just said. He handles it perfectly.
Yeah, he really knows how to. He handles. When I watched him do the press, it's interesting for me. I got to do a worldwide press junket for Starship Troopers. So I was all over Asia, all over Europe, and a little bit in South America, and all over America. And I tried to model myself off of a little bit what I heard or read that Arnold Schwarzenegger did at the time, because back then it wasn't internet or anything like that. So it's what I just read in articles and what I watched on TV and stuff like that, and what I read in books. And then when I watched Alexander, I went, I think he modeled himself after Arnold Schwarzenegger too. And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is his idol. And, and he really has perfected it. I've never seen anybody handle the press better than him over there. In my opinion, I thought he was pure genius.
You mentioned Starship Troopers. Obviously, that's one of the biggest titles you have worked on. Did your time, like with military school and your family's history, did that help when acting in roles such as Starship Troopers and Showdown in Manila and just other action roles?
Absolutely, 100%. I think that going to Admiral Farragut Academy in St. Petersburg, Florida, helped give me more discipline, and then also having my father and my grandfather and my other grandfathers, just the stories of him, because I never got to meet him. All these military men in my life really inspire me to be a better, more humble man, and to really take responsibility for the things that happen in my life, and to show up on time and prepared.
Gotcha.
So I think 100%, I think all that did. Thank you for asking. That's a great question.
No problem. Considering the cast and considering a lot of the people that you did do this film with are kind of just known for action. You, on the other hand, you've done comedy, television, holiday stuff, video game stuff, voiceover work. Is there something that you prefer, or is it you just have the acting bug and you're just willing to take on whatever?
I think when you take on a role, you have to just go into it 100%, whatever it is. I know that there's all action in this, all these action stars and everything, and I obviously see that I'm the comic relief in it. And Mark, when he goes, "This character's written for you, it's just like you," and I started reading, I go, "Wait a minute, you and I have a different image of me."
Yeah.
I think you're totally thinking of me a totally different, 100% different person than I am. He goes, "Oh no, this is perfect. It's so you." And yes, just play it like that. I'm like, what? So I don't know what the best one is. I don't know what role is the best way to do it. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But that is exactly what happened. I know we talked about it earlier like that, but that's exactly what happened with me with this role. What I would like to do is, I like to have fun.
Yeah.
I like to get into characters. Doolittle, when I played Jimmy Doolittle, he's an amazing character, but he was heroic. He's from the greatest generation, and it was after Pearl Harbor got bombed, he re-signed up. He'd already been the most decorated and our highest decorated pilot, and then he signed up again to try to help turn the tide of the war, and he did with his mission, but he was inspirational. And so that one you play it in a different way, but you still take every single one, whether it's comedic or if it's poking fun at yourself, or if it's playing an iconic character or a real character. You want to do your best job. You want to portray it the best way possible.
Yeah, I guess what I'm hearing is you like the more personal stuff that connects to you ultimately, correct?
Well, I mean, I think everything you do should connect to you.
Yeah.
I guess in a way I do like that. So, but even like Tarzan for me, playing Tarzan was my dad's idol, my dad's favorite character. He watched all the films and read the books, and he got me into it. And so when I got to play my idol's idol, was surreal for me.
Okay.
And then playing Johnny Rico, which was a book I had read before military school, and that everybody reads in military school, and it was required reading for the Marine Corps. I think when you play a character, an iconic character like that, it's kind of surreal too. And then when I played James Dean, it was, and then when I played Jimmy Doolittle, it was even more so. But then when I make fun of myself, it's a lot of fun. So I think I like it all. But I think you have to tie it all in a personal level, otherwise you're not acting right.
Well, yeah, keeping that in mind with Showdown though, I was not expecting as much humor. Going into it, I wasn't expecting that much humor, and I was surprised how well it worked. The relationship between you and Alexander was really interesting, and it really worked on a level as far as like just the overall connection between the two of you guys. I guess my question is like, I know Alexander's already thinking about a sequel, and so where would you like to see this series go? Like, what would happen next?
Oh, I mean, I would love to see where the journey goes to next. I mean, for me, I think my character Charlie he's a lot of fun, and he's just it was so much fun to play him. Where would it go next? Well, I would love to see it. We joked about on set where we were going to Cuba, or which I thought would have been fun, or going into Moscow would be fun. There's a lot of places I would think that would be fun, but I mean, of course, I'd love to do it in Hawaii.
Yeah,
that's what I told Alexander. We should totally do it.
Considering your whole body of work, what would you say is the quote of all quotes? Like, what do you hear? What gets shouted at you the most when you're walking down the street?
Wow. It's always a Starship Troopers quote. It's either, come on, you if you want to live forever. Rico, what are you doing here? Or, you know what to do. Or, Rico's Roughnecks. Or, kill them all. And you don't always want to hear kill them all.
Yeah.
Especially where you are. You don't always want to hear that, but it's still a fun one for me.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much, and I definitely look forward to all the stuff you have coming out this year.
Oh, thank you so much, Jesse.
Have a good day, Casper.
You take care.
Bye-bye.